Hello and Merry Christmas! Welcome to the Press Room with WCN TV, brought to you by the Wilson County News. We're your source for community and communication. I'm your host, Julia, the Marketing and Social Media Specialist here at the Wilson County News. In today's episode of the Press Room, we'll be covering the following topics. Hear from Wilson County Judge Richard Dicky Jackson about the Wilson County Commissioners Court as they look back on their work in 2022. And the last Christmas story of the year, read by Wilson County News publisher Elaine Kolodziej. You can subscribe to print, digital, or both editions of the Wilson County News at wilsoncountynews.com/subscribe, so you never miss an edition of your local newspaper. Feel free to follow us where you're watching today, so you never miss an episode of the Press Room or any of our other WCN TV news. First on today's show, we'll hear from Wilson County Judge Richard Dicky Jackson. One of his duties as county judge is to preside over the Wilson County Commissioners Court. Today, he'll reflect on what commissioners tackled in 2022, plus his thoughts as he prepares to retire. Welcome to the Press Room.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, who are you and what do you do in our county?
Well, my name is Dickie Jackson, and I'm the Wilson County Judge. I preside over Commissioners Court, and also I hear judicial cases. I hear Class A and B misdemeanors. I have current civil jurisdiction with the Justice of the Peace of $20,000, cases up to $20,000.
Wow.
And I also hear appeals from Justice Court, appeals from civil cases and from their judicial cases. I have here probates, guardianships, over emergency management, and I see certain day-to-day operations at the courthouse. All major decisions go through Commissioners Court. But sometimes for convenience and exigent circumstances, I'll make a decision right then.
That makes sense. So lots of responsibilities.
Yeah, it can be, yes.
Yeah. Well, who are the Wilson County Commissioners?
We have 4 commissioners, 4 precincts. Precinct 1 commissioner is Gary Martin. Precinct 2 commissioner is Paul File. Precinct 3 commissioner is Jeffrey Perdola. And Precinct 4 commissioner is Larry Wiley. And Precinct 2 Commissioner Paul Fowle and Precinct 4 Commissioner Larry Wiley are like me. We're all retiring at the end of the year, at the end of our term.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Replacing them for Precinct 2 will be Russell King, and in Precinct 4 will be Scott Aiken.
Cool.
Yes.
And so what do y'all do as county commissioners?
Okay, the commissioners are responsible for the maintenance and upkeep on their roads and in their respective precincts. And they also make budgetary decisions. They help run the county. They run the business of the county. Each elected official is in charge of their own office.
Okay, interesting. So what is the process of running the business of the county and addressing the needs of the citizens?
Okay, as I said, all major decisions go through Commissioners Court. The Commissioners Court meets every second and fourth Monday of the month. And sometimes we'll have a special meeting or a call meeting or an emergency meeting. We had, back during COVID, we had to have some of those to take some certain steps to keep things going health-wise for people.
Right.
And some of the other special meetings could be to canvass votes. Even if we have a special meeting, it has to be posted just like our regular Commissioners Court meetings.
Right.
Only thing, the difference is an emergency meeting, it changes it from 72 hours to 2 hours, but there has to be an emergency.
Okay, that makes sense. And so basically, in order to address any concerns of the citizens or of the county as a whole, you have to have a meeting about it in order to take action.
Yes. Any business or action that we take has to be on the Commissioners Court agenda. The people have to be aware of it. It's all transparency. Just let the people know this is what we're going to be talking about.
Right.
And if it's not on the agenda, we're not supposed to be approaching it.
That makes
When a lot of times when people will come to Commissioners Court and make a public comment, we can't comment it back because what they're talking about is not on the agenda.
Right. But what you could do is add it to the next one.
And then the next time, if it's an important item, it will probably be on the agenda, yes.
That makes sense. Okay. What were some of the commissioners' main concerns over the past year, and what did you do to address them?
Well, the commissioners, their main concerns are maintenance and upkeep of the road and enough money to do that with.
Right.
And keeping the county running smoothly. Keeping the county running is a collaborative effort of the county judge, the county commissioners, and all other elected officials and department heads to be successful. All parts of the county, from road bridge to the tax office to records to law enforcement and judicial courts. Everything has to run smoothly and everybody has to work together.
Right. That makes sense. Were there any obstacles that you had to overcome this year?
Well, after COVID-19, it's been a breeze, it seems like. But dealing with health issues is something that always comes to mind. Not mine, but employees, friends, co-workers,
Right.
people that you're concerned about. Dealing with the extenuating circumstances from COVID-19. Some people are still,
Suffering with that.
it still affects them. There's lots of things that I would like to see going. We have had an effort. Our ESDs have been struggling. Our volunteers, they're getting to be fewer and fewer volunteers. And the volunteers that are out there, bless their hearts, they work all the time. They have to make a living. They have to work and have a job. And then when they're not working on a job, people are expecting them, okay, you're a volunteer fireman, you're a volunteer EMS. When I get a call, come take care of me. One thing that has happened is EMS is countywide with an ESD.
Right.
We have ESD 2 that takes care of the Eagle Creek area, ESD 3 that takes care of the Lavernia, Sullivan Springs, Stockdale area over there, and ESD 4 that takes care of the Floresville area, Floresville Poth area.
Right. That makes sense.
So it's a little lapse in the ESDs for fire. There's still some areas that are strictly volunteers. And like I said, those people have to work and make a living and also answer fire calls. It's
Right.
not easy.
It doesn't sound like it. Well, as you prepare to retire from your role as Wilson County Judge, do you have any thoughts on the future of the county and the Commissioner's Court?
I'm very confident that the new Commissioner's Court will do an excellent job. I've either known them for a while, each of them for a while, or have become very familiar with them. And they're going to work with the best interest of Wilson County and their constituents in mind.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you for having me. And I'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, and I'd like to thank all of the people of Wilson County for having confidence in me and letting me work for them for the last 8 years. And we appreciate it. Thank you.
It's time for the last WCN Christmas Story of the year, read by Wilson County News publisher Elaine Kolodziej. She'll be reading her favorite holiday story, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Clement Clarke Moore.
'Twas the Night Before Christmas by Clement Clarke Moore. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced through their heads, and Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet and Cupid and Donder and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my hat and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
That's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning into the Press Room with WCN TV, brought to you by the Wilson County News. For more information about anything we mentioned in today's show, see the December 21st edition of the Wilson County News or visit wilsoncountynews.com. You can also find articles corresponding to each topic discussed today in this video's description. Remember to follow us where you're watching so you never miss an episode, and consider subscribing to receive the Wilson County News each week. You can find more news or subscribe at wilsoncountynews.com, or get our app, Go Wilson, to receive updates from our newsroom at your fingertips. The app is available for Apple and Android devices at gowilsonapp.com. We hope you'll tune in next week for another episode of The Press Room. Happy holidays!